put together a solid game plan 2 weeks in a row. This is a big. But overall, I can't complain too much. We just need to see some of the Bills.
We've got an exceptional level against very good.
This was our third win in a row. Very happy. I'm just concerned about.
All right, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Mile High Minute. I am here, of course, with my partners in crime every week, which is Steve and Todd. And all right, let's just jump right into it. So, Todd, what was good, or what is the good you think about the game, Broncos, anything?
All right, so there's not a lot of good to talk about in that game specifically, but there is one good thing, and that is that I'm wearing my orange Bronco jersey. And the reason that is because I have a blue Bronco jersey that is much more comfortable. And I wear my orange jersey because of the Peyton Manning era, but they've gotten so bad that I decided that, if they are below 500, I'm not wearing my orange jersey. I'm wearing my blue jersey because it's more comfortable. I am wearing my orange jersey in December. We are 500. Christmas is next week, and we are a 500 team. That has not happened since we went to the Super Bowl. And so I'm not, I wish I'd be a little bit more comfortable right now if I was wearing my blue jersey, but I get to wear my orange jersey because we are moderately successful in mid-December.
So ironically, you're comfortable with these Broncos, so you get to wear the uncomfortable jersey. So there you go.
Exactly. Everybody's got to work.
All right. Yeah, we've all got our superstitions, and I kind of like that one. So, all right, Steve, yours is the good.
Okay, I'm going to go with the rest of our schedule. I would have been better if we had won this game last week, but the rest of our schedule is looking pretty good. We've got to play the Patriots, the Chargers, and the Raiders. Other than the Raiders looking really good against the Chargers, I feel like I'm feeling pretty good about the schedule. So if you follow all the analysis from the New York Times or whatever, it's like we get an 81% chance of making the playoffs if we win out. So we do have to hope a couple things fall our way. But if we go 10-7, I'm feeling pretty good about the season, even if that doesn't play out.
Okay, all right. My good. I like you guys. I don't have a lot of good from the game, but I did like the fact that we started seeing people we hadn't seen in a long time, especially Lil Jordan Humphrey, which became a very interesting party name at my Christmas party I was having. People were like, who is that? What's his name? So the catch by Lil Jordan Humphrey was actually probably the highlight of the game for me. All right, Steve, you get to start with the ugly.
Or
the ugly.
I'm sorry, the bad.
We're going to do the bad?
Yeah.
Do the bad. So if I'm starting the bad, I'm going to go with our defense against fast offenses. I think our defense is overall pretty good, but we're somewhat dependent on being able to blitz and, in order to get to the quarterback. And when a team is fast, gets the ball out quick, they've got quick players, our defense does just not look the same. And, so I feel like on a good, on the right week against the right team, we can be really good. But, the Dolphins, the Lions, so we'll see what happens.
Todd?
So the bad for me was Sunday. We were in pretty good shape. Even after we lost Saturday night, we were in pretty good shape. But everything that could have gone wrong for us in terms of playoff contention did. The Bears, come on, guys. Bears lost the game they could have won against the Browns. The Titans lost a game they should have won against the Texans. If those two games had been different, we would be square in the playoff race. I haven't given up yet, but it was just very difficult to watch those scores come in. I'll tell you, like I think Indy's a big threat. The Colts are a big threat. If we don't make the playoffs, it's probably because the Colts take our spot.
Yeah, I can agree with that. My bad is Denver social media and everybody else sitting there talking. We're in the playoff run, and they're counting numbers as to whether or not we should trade Russell Wilson. Come on, guys. Let's not do that crap right now, okay? We have 3 games to win out. It irritates me, and it's like, we're winning. We are doing very, very well. So that would be my bad. All right. Todd, you start with the ugly.
All right. And I feel strongly about this. And so we're going to go on a little journey here. The ugly was Sean Payton screaming at Russell Wilson after he screwed up 4 plays in a row to get that touchdown, which I do think actually, it was a blowout afterwards, but I do think that would have been a momentum changer, and I think we were squarely in the mix of winning that game if we had scored that touchdown. But the reason why it's giving me a little journey is because it's allowing me to go back to the good, which is, you talked about Russell Wilson and social media. Russell Wilson is not getting enough credit. I can't imagine what the last 18 months of his life have been like. He is a potential Hall of Fame quarterback. He's a Super Bowl MVP. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. He's been one of the most dominant quarterbacks of the last decade, and he's been made a fool of by Nathaniel Hackett last year. And I got to tell you, I watched the way he handled that Sunday. I watched the way he handled now. I'm not a huge fan of Russell, like the whole Russell thing, but I have to say I have an immense amount of respect for how he has put his head down and just tried to fix this. No complaints from him. Like, he's been such a non-distraction. I do think that most of the offense follows him, but you have to acknowledge, or I want to acknowledge how well I thought he handled the last week, and on top of that, how he's handled this season, because I can't imagine how difficult it's been for him. So there you go. That's my ugly. Russell Wilson is doing a great job this year.
That was my ugly too. So I 100%.
I was giving my ugly also. So.
I kind of figured that might be all of our uglies and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, like what you said, I get it. It was the heat of battle and the heat of what was going on and everything. But that was just, it just kind of struck me as just wrong. But
yeah,
I can't blame Sean Payton either, because you're right. It was a situation where we were close. That could have been a momentum changer for us. And I get his frustration too. So, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was going to do the same thing, but it's like I'm somebody who gets hangry, like it's like if I haven't eaten in a while and you just say just the wrong thing, like I will snap, but I will also feel bad about it and I will apologize. And I think Sean said what he said, but what I feel like he just didn't handle it very well after the fact and really sort of own up to what he did, whereas he just kind of like cut it off, like I'm not going to talk about that, and that kind of attitude. If I was going to pivot to something else that was ugly, the officiating in that one play that led to the yelling, like that drive was just terrible. Where we had like multiple times where I feel like the Broncos scored and somehow none of it happened. And then to go back to Peyton one more time, going for 3 at that moment just seemed like the wrong call. Like you're already down by 3 scores. Going and scoring a field goal to also be down by 3 scores doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But it was heat of the moment. I think he kind of lost the script at that moment, and I think they'll turn it around for next week, but not great.
Yeah, I also, to go to the officiating, I also want to point out, and I pointed this out on the roundtable, is that we've been talking about like impermissible use of a helmet. How many times Kareem Jackson's gotten hit for it? How many times guys on our defense have gotten hit for it? The Detroit guy, it was a helmet-to-helmet hit. I forget who he hit or what it was, but that was an epitome of what they're talking about there. No flag, nothing. Didn't get a fine later or anything. So I agree. It it wasn't we wouldn't have won the game because of that particular penalty. If you're going to call us out for it, I would think the officiating crew that's going to be coming in is going to know what that call is, and when they see it, call it. But they didn't. So I just thought that was. I can't remember if it was Sutton or if it was one of the running backs, but I think you guys know which play I'm referring to.
Yeah, I know what
I'm talking about that.
Speaking of that, I for one welcome back Kareem Jackson, and we'll be sad to see him go after he tackles some guy and gets thrown out of the game again this week. But it'll be nice to have him back.
Well, did you see Vance Joseph said he's not sure where he'll fit him in right now?
They don't even know that he's going to be active, actually. So,
yeah. Yeah. So we'll see.
I was just going to say real quickly, if you had taken, if I didn't get to go do the ugly first, and one of you guys had taken it, the other ugly that happened in the last 2 weeks is we've literally in the last 2 games had 5 plays that should have been touchdowns that weren't, and that's crazy. But you know what? We're just going to keep on plugging.
Yep. Okay. And on that note, we're going to go through who's in the hunt and who's for the wild card and what we think is going to happen here. Because, I mean, this week, I think, depending on how games go, could change things up a bit. So right now, the Browns are sitting in 5th, and they're going to be playing Houston this weekend. The Bengals are going to be playing Pittsburgh, and the Colts are going to be playing Atlanta. So out of those 3, only the Colts aren't playing someone that's already in the hunt or trying to get into the playoffs. So do you think the Browns can hold off Houston? Do we think Flacco can do that?
Yes.
Any given Sunday.
The Browns in the playoffs.
I think we're going to have this like weird playoff run by Flacco. It's going to just be like suddenly from out of the grave, the Browns are going to be doing decently with Flacco at quarterback, and it'll be very weird to watch.
Yeah, but like always, he's not really doing a lot. He's just managing a game. And so, I mean, I had an interesting conversation at the Christmas party on Saturday with a Browns fan. And she was like, oh, my God, Joe Flacco. And I'm like, yeah, he's won a Super Bowl, and yeah, I'll give him his props and everything. But it's Joe Flacco. I mean,
get on the Joe Flacco train. I don't recommend getting tickets.
Yeah, I think we have PTSD from our Joe Flacco thing. That's what we.
Flacco wins when he has a great defense.
Right, and the Browns have a really, really good defense right now.
They're going to be in the playoffs. Browns are going to be in the playoffs. Okay.
I think they're going to sneak in. I don't know what by sneaking in, because I don't think they have a great offense. They don't have Nick Chubb. I think they're getting in with their defense. And so, I mean, they won that game against the Bears on a fluke. So, I mean, that's why I think they'll make it. But, I mean, they're also playing Houston. So if they defeat Houston, that actually helps us if we win. Okay, the Bengals are playing Pittsburgh, which if the Bengals beat Pittsburgh and we win, that also helps us. So that would change everything. At that point, it would be us and the Texans still tied. So, and then the Bills.
Just real quickly, like the Texans season, I believe, rides on whether or not C.J. Stroud plays on Sunday. If C.J. doesn't play, I think they lose, and then they're going to have a hard time coming back.
Yeah, is he still under concussion protocol?
They don't know if they have not determined, they have not cleared him to play on Sunday, so it looks like they won't.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so, all right, well, I mean, like I said, a lot of these games are within the AFC. So after Monday, I think the AFC playoff picture is going to change all over again. We're going to see some people change and stuff. I honestly don't see the Steelers beating the Bengals, even with their backup quarterback. I just don't see it happening. But I've seen stranger things. So, I mean, one was watching that Bears game. So, all
Rooting for the Bears just doesn't feel good to me.
Rooting for the Patriots, the Bears, and the Cowboys so incredibly weird to me, and I want to take the Cowboys and shove them into hell for the night left because it couldn't beat the Bills. That one would have helped us out so much if they could have beat the Bills. So
yes.
maybe the Bills.
There's a lot of things that could have helped us this weekend, and none of them did. But
yeah, well, one of them would have been winning our game, which I don't know, but you guys, we never kind of touched on this. Is this a game that you thought we could actually win, or was it one that you were kind of? I didn't think we could beat Detroit.
I thought we could win. I just thought it was the one we could most afford to lose of sort of the last set of games that we have. So, I'd rather we had won, but I don't feel like it's world ending that we didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I will say a couple things. One is the Lions have been pretty inconsistent the last month. So, I didn't walk in thinking that we were going to lose for sure. And then I'm going to steal what Steve told me earlier this week because he didn't do it. But the Lions literally looked like a team who had been playing well all year and decided when they were playing us, they were going to get it together and make a playoff run. And you see that sometimes. You see a team in late December. Sorry, Steve. I don't mean to take it from you.
Oh, no.
But you see.
You already took my ugly. Just keep going.
What's that? Say that again?
You said you already took my ugly. Keep going.
We've seen that pretty regularly. Like there's some teams who've been playing really well, and they start to feel the heat of the playoffs in a big game, and they just take it up to another level. So I wish that the Broncos played well. I don't think we lost. I think the Lions won, and I think they're going to make a run, and that'll be fun for the league. Certainly fun for the state of Michigan.
Yeah, I agree with you. I see, but in the beginning of the year, just kind of how they were playing and what they were doing, I had it in my mind that this was a game. Also, based on how we were playing, that this was going to be a loss. And the 2 weeks leading up, like you said, like they lost some games that they were picked to lose. And I think especially the defensive coordinators, they watched some tape. They picked us apart. They knew exactly where to go and how to throw and all of it. And Steve was at the party, and there was a chat going on with some other people on the Let's Talk Football. I literally set it down and said, Kyle, I can't talk to you right now. Because he kept saying things and pointing out things that were problems. And I was just like, I can't deal with this right now. But
one of the things that I think we should pay attention to the Lions, like the Lions beating the Chiefs on Thursday of week 1, exposed vulnerabilities of the Chief offense. So Lions defense is for real.
I think it is too. Their defense has always been for real all year long. I think it's their offense is what they've taken a little bit to get going. And like what we talked about, like the week before, Jared Goff threw 6 interceptions. So we were kind of looking at that, like, okay, this will be a decent game, but they just picked us apart, and they, like I said, they're getting on a run. I would like to see the Lions make a good run inside the NFC. I don't know if they can beat the juggernaut that's known as the 49ers, but we'll see what happens any given Sunday. So, okay. That's all. Anything you guys want to talk about what's been going in Bronco Nation, things that people have been talking about?
I'm ready to just finish the season at this point. 3-0. See how it goes.
And so, okay, going with that. So this will be our last thought that we kind of have is if we go 3-0 and we statistically, I know they say that if we don't make the playoffs, do you consider this to be a good year for the team? And if so, why? Or if not, why not? Steve?
I mean, and I said earlier, I felt it was good. I mean, I think it's like we haven't had a winning season in a long time. I think it's evidence that the ship has turned around. I look at go into the draft, pick, fill a few gaps, get another season with people getting familiar with the coaching staff and all that. Like, I feel like it gets us on the right track. I'd rather go to playoffs, even if it's for only one game, but I feel like we're back and it's kind of nice.
Yeah. Season, because I think it'll be memorable. After the Miami game, I just thought, oh my gosh, it's just getting worse and worse and worse. It is so fun to be engaged with Broncos football in late December. It will probably go down, honestly, and as one of, if we don't make the playoffs, it'll be my favorite season ever where we didn't make the playoffs, which is, that's some tallest midget nonsense, but that's how I feel. This was a great season. I had a great time. I love watching them. Very proud of the organization top to bottom for coming back from that nonsense in September. And who knows what's going to happen next year, but the Broncos have rebuilt. They've taken a step towards rebuilding the culture that we expect them to be.
I agree with all of that. And if we win the 3 games, I mean, we will be, I think, I'm trying to read 10-7.
10-7. That's a good
10-7.
record.
Yeah, which is 2 more games than we won last year. And we beat the Chiefs. We finally broke that record. And seeing how we do with the Raiders and with the Charger games coming up, I'm going to call this one a +2 in a great season. And I agree with you. I mean, I was hesitant about Sean Payton in the beginning. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't quite sure what he was going to do or how he was going to do, but he showed himself to be the coach that we needed to turn the culture around, like getting people to be responsible. And going with like what she said in September, that's because we had some key injuries in certain places, and I think people were still learning the system and didn't understand what their role was in defense or how that worked in Sean's system. So I think it's going better. So I agree with you guys. I will call this a plus.
I only say this because I wish it had happened, but we did not. What was our record last year?
I thought it was
bad.
8.
It was bad.
I would have loved 9.
I'm looking it up right now. So I thought it was 8-9.
5-12. Close.
Oh, it was 5-12. Okay, well then we won 5 games more than we did last year. So that's even better. So
fingers crossed.
Yeah, if we win the last 3 games. The only thing I see about the game on Sunday is I've been reading a lot of this and talking about it on Broncos Country is we have to realize the Patriots actually have a really good run defense. And that seems to be our problem is if we can't get our run game going, we have issues with our offense. So that's the only thing I see. But Zappy and all of that, their offense is not that great either. So I think this can be a win. I just think it might be closer than what people want it to be, considering that they're a 3-11 team. But that's just my thought on that. So, any thoughts on the game?
If the Broncos lose at home at night on Christmas Eve, they're going to have a lot to answer for. So, I'm feeling pretty good. We'll pull this one out.
I think we will too. I mean, I think the game last week and the week before for the Patriots were flukes. It was just something. Somebody wasn't paying attention to that game, and they just ended up. But someone was looking to the game the next week, not the game in front of them. So, all right, Steve, any last thoughts?
Nope.
Todd, anything?
I'm good. Let's bring on the Patriots.
Yep. All right, we will end this another episode of Mile High Minute. I don't think we've ever hit it. All right. Bye, everyone.
Happy holidays.